Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to JJ's PC Builds. This is JJ with you once again. And I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the family and friends, subscribers, you know who you are, and new viewers. And if this is your first time watching the video, then make sure you subscribe. Would help out the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and we're trying to do 4,000 watch hours to get monetized. So if you want to help out the channel, that would help out the channel. Now let's go ahead and just get right to it. This is Graphics Card Nightmares. Yeah, we're back at it once again with Graphics Card Nightmares. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and just jump right to it, and believe it or not, we're going to go on today's prices and see what's going on. If you want to see stats and everything else, then I'll do a special video just to do stats on graphics cards and stuff like that. Today we're just doing the prices and you're just getting a look at what's going on in the market today. So the real nightmare is going to be when it comes April, what it's going to look like coming to the nvidia side with the new graphics cards they're going to be having coming out. Could be the 4070 or the 4060 or 4060 Ti. Now remember, the 4070 is not the non-Ti, but each one of those graphics cards, they're rolling it down. They're like minusing like 1,800 cores off of every time they downscale. So we'll go ahead and we'll go through that, at another time. But from what I'm seeing is it's like 18. They're knocking off 1,800 cores every time they go down the scale. So it could be that they get down to where they're going to have a graphics card, and believe it or not, can't believe I'm saying this, they might have a graphics card that's all the way down to 400 cores. You never know. You never know what NVIDIA's got cooking. But today what we're going to see is what's going on with the pricing. Let's go ahead and just get right to it and switch to the action screen, and brings us right here to the page. And this way, we're going to go through Amazon, and we're going to look up Amazon, and we're going to do the graphics cards, so we'll look up graphics cards. Okay, so let's see what's going on. We got the Ti for $829 and $830. We got a 4070 Ti 12 gigabyte. It's still to me the same price as last week. You all know the benchmarks on these, so I shouldn't have to show you the benchmarks on each individual one for graphics card nightmares. Y'all should be able to see that online, so the stats are already there for you. You just got to type it in, what kind of graphics card it is, see the specs on it, boom, there you go. So we're just going to keep moving along. The 580 has got 248 SP. It's 8 gigabytes GDR5 256-bit for $119. Now, for $119 getting a 580, hopefully with you doing it with Amazon, you get some kind of warranty. It'd be good to make sure that you get some kind of warranty with it, because if you're going to get the 580, that would be the best to do, is to have that warranty right there. Because if you don't get the warranty, then you're going to be stuck at a point to where you can't return it. What are you going to do to fix it? Then you're going to look online to see who fixes graphics cards, and then you're going to wind up putting out more than what the graphics card is worth. because getting graphics card fixed, you're looking at $200 or $300. I mean, with the 3060, the 12 gigabyte, guess what? It's still the same price as last week. If you look at my videos last week for graphics card nightmares, you will see that the prices haven't changed much. You got your 3070 for $544. You got another one, 3060 for $387. And moving on down the road, you got your 4 gigabyte cards. Now, let me stress something out about the 4 gigabyte cards. Most of your new modern games are going up to 4 gigabytes. Okay, so if you got something lower than 4 gigabytes, this is not really going to, those graphics cards are not going to really work for you anymore when it comes to gaming. You can get an older graphics card, yes, but is it going to work good for gaming? Maybe, maybe not. So they do have the 4090 for $1,650. They got these two here. Looks like the same ones. So, yeah, they're kind of the same ones. So that's if you're looking to get an RTX 4090. You're still going to look in between the price range of $1,600 and $2,500 to get an RTX 4090. So if you're not looking to spend that kind of money, then you're best off to, I heard something about the 3080s that are really bad nightmares. I heard that they were getting bricked by certain games, like so, now you can look this up about the 3080, but I do hear that they are being bricked by certain games. So you might want to look that up before you decide to buy a 3080. Now, if you're deciding to buy a 3080, you're best off to go to something, that's next gen, because believe it or not, there are next gen cards that are probably a little bit better for a better price. You look for price to performance, and you kind of want to stick with the price to performance. 3050, I had some comments about the 3050. Some people say there's only like maybe, the Cody's, there's like one Cody's missing, that some people claim they're not bad cards. Okay, well, that will be something to check out, because, a 3050 with 8 gigabytes of GDR6, 128-bit, 14 gigabytes per second, PCIe 4.0, for $264, that's still within a $300 price range. Okay, now I can't say at this point that it's going to be a bad card. Now I'm going to have a little change of mind. Okay, for the simple fact it's 128 bits and it is PCIe 4.0 and it's 8 gigabytes and it's GDR6. So it might be a good card to adventure in. You never know. So maybe later on down the road, I'll get my hands on one. I'll try it out and see if it works well in my system. And if it does, I'll take y'all along with me on that. So for now, I'm kind of up in the air about the 3050. Maybe it does have a little bit of oomph to it, to where, it's good for gaming and it's good for creative work. Depends on what kind of programs you're using or the kind of games you're playing. That will determine if this is going to be a good deal or a bad deal. Okay, so, but if you look at it in an overall picture, you never know if it's a good deal or a bad deal. So, when you got a lot of reviewers telling you that, it's kind of a bad deal, you know, it's got some good points and it's got some bad points. Okay, so it's kind of 50-50. So we're going to leave it as that for now until we get a lot more information on it and get our hands on it and try it out. Because if it's better than the RX 6650 XT, then I could see something a little bit different. Okay, everybody praises the RX 6650 XT. Now, trying to match this card, the 3050, against the 6650 XT would be something to kind of consider. That might be a good way to test out which is going to be good, AMD side and nvidia side, but time will tell. The 3060 for $349, wow. Okay, it did come down a little bit on price. I'm going to say a little bit. It came down $50. According to Amazon, it came down $50. So, moving down the road, 6700 XT, 369, 12 gigabytes for 369, GDR6, PCIe 4.0, that could be a decent card for 369. It depends on your flavor. 249, you got the 6600, the RX 6600. That's why I said the 6650 XT to go against the 3050 is because in the price range they're about almost close to the same in price range. So that might be something to consider as well. I mean, you might want to look at it like that. Okay, the 4070 Ti, you can go up and probably get PNY for $829. Save yourself $20. They have the 4 gigabyte for $169. The GTX 1650 amp core. I don't think a lot of people are going to be buying those anymore. So here you go. Like I said, the 4070 Ti 12 gigabyte, $829. Moving on down the road, they got the 6750 XT, not the 6650, the 6750 XT for $449. That's still a little bit too high, I think. 3060 Ti, that's still a little high. 3050, $299. You got a better deal getting the $279 than you do that one. The 550, you can try it, but I really wouldn't recommend it for the simple fact that you're probably not going to be happy with it having PCIe 3.0 x16, which I know is equal to PCIe 4.0 x4. So let's just get that right. And make sure you all got your drink. I got mine right here. And make sure you got your snacks with you as well. We're looking through the good and the bad of the nightmares. Okay, so we went through the page of Amazon. Let's go ahead and go to a second page, and then after that we'll go over there to Newegg and see what's going on. Okay, I don't know if y'all want a bag for like $40. You go to the store and get a shopping bag for 10 cents. Really? And we ain't looking to sell you a phone or anything. I'm not looking to sell you anything. The thing is, I'm showing you the prices that are coming down the pipeline for today. Today, marking 3/25/2023. Okay? These are the prices of today. So when you go back to look on the last video, those are the prices of that day, of last week. So you can see how the prices fluctuate up and down on individual graphics cards. So it gives you a good idea of how you save your money of getting what kind of graphics card you want, because I know most of you want to get a warranty with your graphics card, and make sure that you get the best deal that you can get. Okay, that's the whole idea. $389, it's still not too bad. 6900 XT, I heard they're having a little bit of problems, so I'm not going to recommend those. Now the 4080, they got that with 16 gigs. It's probably going to be 192-bit. They got it for $1,195.51. That would say $1,196. So they did come down a little bit on the price. It's the Asus TUF. So it's on Amazon if you're looking to get it. See, this is what I'm telling you. The 4080 and the 3080, you can see the price difference. Okay. Now, 3080 is the last generation, and the 4080 is this generation. I know it's kind of like the next baby card to the 4090, because this card's basically cut in half. Okay, the cores are like cut in half, matching to the 4090. So, but you get 16 gigabytes. So, you lose between that and the 4090, you lose 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's still PCIe 4.0. It still gives you the same HDMI and display port. It still gives you GDR6X. The 4080 could be the next best thing if you're looking to get a graphics card for like less than $1,200. Okay, so that could be the next best thing. I mean, the 3080s they're having problems with. That's kind of the reason why I'm weaning away from the 3080 Ti's and 3080s, is because they are having a little bit of a problem. 6500X 64-bit, 4 gigabytes. Nah, I really wouldn't recommend the 4 gigabyte ones. You basically, when it comes like this, okay, now I'm going to say like this. I'm recommending this to you. What you want to do is, games are starting to improve themselves dramatically, and they're using up a lot of more VRAM. Okay, you want to get a card that has a lot more VRAM and a lot more some got L2 cache, some got L3 cache. Now, you want to kind of stick with the cards that got better L2 and L3 caches. I know that kind of sounds weird to hear that, with the GPU having an L2 and L3 cache, but they do have them. So you might want to consider making sure you look at the stats on the cards to make sure that they have the right amount of cache and they have the right amount of VRAM. Okay, now for anything that's below 8 gigabytes of VRAM, you kind of might want to consider, I would say the least is the 6 gigabytes of VRAM. I would say the least amount with these newest games that are coming out. And, and I hear that, these newer games are just like absorbing like all the VRAM. So you might want to consider that into the factor of your build. If you're gonna have that kind of usage, and you're gonna play those kind of games that are gonna use up a lot of RAM, so you might want to consider a card with higher amount of RAM. So, but that's your choice and how you buy your cards. All I can do is tell you where to start. I would, like I always do, I start with Amazon, okay, and I work my way up, and I go through all the main distributors of video cards, go through all the pages, see what they have, do some stat checking, and And also too, when you play certain games, you might want to see, the what kind of reports you're getting from other people playing the same game, what kind of graphics card they're using, to give you a ballpark of where you want to be to purchase a graphics card. It's a lot of doing your homework and a lot of seeing what's going on. I know to me, I know if you're new at building your own PC, I know it seems like a little bit of a headache and nightmare trying to figure out what kind of graphics card to start with. Okay, because of the gaming and everything else, always look at the stats of the game, what kind of minimal requirements or the best requirements that the game requires. Always look at the requirements, always get feedback and on other people on what they're using to play the game with. Get that kind of feedback, look it up, see what kind of card they're using, and always build yourself a little bit of a information center on what kind of cards you really want to use, because this might be a card you want to use for 4 to 5 years until one day you decide you might want to upgrade to the next big thing. So do keep that in mind when you before you purchase a graphics card. I just don't jump in and purchase any old graphics card. I always look to make sure that, I see what the graphics card is all about, and see if it's going to fit my requirements. Like, my requirements is that it needs to do creator content work, it needs to be able to game, it needs to be able to handle anything I throw at it. So basically, if I throw the kitchen sink at it, it better handle it. So, I'm looking for that kind of card that's really going to do the job. Okay? But come to the factor that I'm only running a B450 motherboard. I know in time when I go to upgrade to a to get a discrete graphics card, I know I'm going to have to either go to the B550 motherboards or greater. I already know this because I know the B450 motherboard has a max of PCIe 3.0 x16, for its x16 slot, its PCIe slot. So I know I'm going to end up having to go to a B550 motherboard or greater in order to get PCIe 4.0 or greater. Well, PCIe 4.0, period. Okay, so that just goes like if you want PCI 5.0, which is not really out there yet. If you want, in the future, they're going to have PCIe 5.0. So, for your X16 graphics cards, as soon as they come out with the graphics cards that come with the 5.0 X16, you're going to want a motherboard that's going to support it. So if your motherboard is not supporting that graphics card, maybe it's time you need to upgrade your motherboard. But moving on, we're going to go through this. The 6700 for 400, that's still a little too high. 1660 Super, okay, 269. Okay, it's 6 gigabytes, GDR6. Okay, let me explain this. A lot of people that's, subscribed that do have the 1660 Super. They're not complaining about it. It's kind of a little slow here and there, but it does the job for what they got to do. So, it's still not a bad card, but if you can find it for cheaper than $200, then, it might be a next go-to thing for you to, something for light gaming and a little bit of creator work and stuff like that. You want to make sure that when you buy, if you're going to do creator work and you're going to do gaming, you want to make sure that the the graphics card itself, the discrete graphics card, be able to handle the creator work and be able to handle the gaming all in one. Instead of your processor handling all that load, you want to make sure your graphics card handles at least 90% of the load and at least 20% on your CPU. So if you want to go with, let's say, the 5700X or a 5800X, and you want to stick with the B550 motherboard, then you want to be able to make sure that the graphics card is able to handle, everything that you do online, as well as if you do live videos and stuff like that. You want to make sure it handles it. You want to make sure it handles Adobe and stuff like that, Blender and all that. You don't want to just buy any old graphics card and it doesn't give you 50% of what you're doing, and then you just shot yourself in the foot. So think about before you buy it. I mean, really do your homework before you buy it. And that's my best suggestion to you all, is to do that. Okay, moving on down the road. Let's see. It depends. Again, it all depends on what you want to get. Let's go ahead and move on to Newegg. Let's move on to Newegg. And see what we can find. Oh, and the thing is this too. I want you to all, I'm going to put a little bit of a note up here. Oh, just for me ain't happening. Let's go to graphics cards. Okay, little bit of a note. When you're searching these sites, watch the URLs. Make sure it goes directly to those sites. If not, you can wind up getting into a nightmare of a hacking situation to where you get hacked. So be careful in how you search on the inner boob, because there's a lot of problems going on right now, especially with Google and some of these sites that are not protecting you. Make sure and you got, you set yourself and you go to these sites, you know what you're going to. Just heads up, make sure you play it safe and keep your computer safe so it stays running longer. Okay, 3070, 659, 3070, 3070, 3080. Wow, looks like Newegg has ramped up their prices this month, or this week. Oh yeah, 3060, look, they really ramped their prices up this week. Because looking on Amazon to Newegg, it's night and day right now. It looks like it's night and day. Well, I can see the 1660 Ti, they got the 3.0x16. That might be a good one for like the B450 motherboards. That might be a good one for 189, 190. That might be a good one for the B450 motherboards. So, it's always good something, if you want to get, a lightweight card, it's a good way to go at it. Wow, these prices are just astronomical today. Oh my God. Now y'all are seeing, here comes the nightmare of it all. Now y'all can see, like I said, right here, this might be a good price, 6650 XT, $299. I was telling y'all before that, they do, Amazon might have them for $279. Newegg's got it for $299. You can find them for a decent price, but matching that, the 6650 XT to the 3050, the RTX 3050, it might be a good competition between the two, just to say. Now, which one would you choose when it comes? Now, I'm going to ask you all this. And you can leave a comment down below. Which would you choose? The 6650 XT, or would you choose the RTX 3050? Y'all let me know in the comments below. And believe it or not, they're both PCIe 4.0 and they're both 8 gigabytes. So, something to think about too. They're both matched like that. So, they got the 6600 for $219. They got right here. Right here, MSI's got 6650 XT for $279. That's $20 less, even though. And believe it or not, it still gives you the same that the other one gives you. Still not a bad deal. Okay, so 3060 here is a little bit higher, but it's lower over on Amazon. So something to think about too. Yeah, the prices are just really astronomical right here on Newegg. I mean, they had a 4090 for $1,600 and some odd dollars over on Amazon. $2,000 here on Newegg. It might be better to get a better price over there on Amazon, so do keep that in mind. 7900 XTX 24 gig for $1,049. Believe it or not, that's only $50 above MSRP. $50 above MSRP. Now, if it's within $50 to $100 range, I can see that card being something. Being worth what it's saying it's worth. Okay, but I've been hearing a lot of people talk about, they tried the 7900 XTX and they end up having to, refund it because they don't like the way the card plays. Some people are saying that. Some people are saying they're loving the cards. So, it depends on what kind of games y'all play and everything else. So we're just going to go ahead and move on over there to eBay. We're going to do a little bit of eBaying. So make sure you click on the sites you're familiar with. Like I told you, be safe. I click on the sites I'm familiar with is because they're grayed out. It tells me where I've been last. So that tells me I've been there before. It's a safe site. Just to let you know that, I always go by the sites I've been on before and always follow that pattern. Okay, let's see. What do we got from eBay? They got the Fit 590 8 gigabyte for $89.95. Buy it now. 63 people are watching. Why are 63 people watching? You wonder the question why they are watching. Okay. Is it selling? No, it says they're watching. So that's something you might want to consider. That could be, or maybe, or because they're standing it up on a charger, so that's 9 out of 10 chances that it's not coming with the box. So something to think about. That it's not wrapped up, ready to go in a box, untouched. You don't know. You're not getting it as new as you think. FX 5500? No, I don't think y'all want to play that on that. That's only 256 megs. Oh my goodness. 1660 Ti, 144. 970. I heard it's having a lot of problems. People are not really getting into it. They're just using them as collector items. So something to think about. They got the 590 or the 580, but you got the 590 You know, always look around to make sure to see which is the next best thing. Always keep that in mind. I mean, for $300 here for the 2080 or best offer, I know people are just going to offer $200 for the card. You know, I mean, for 8 GB, and this is 2080. You know, I know people are just going to offer $200. I mean, there's a lot of 8 GB cards out there that are around the $200 range, and you know, this being around the $300 range, you might want to, you know, grovel with the seller a little bit, you know, and say, okay, well, I'll make you a deal. I'll buy it for $250, as long as it's in a box. So, you know, you can some sellers you can reach out to and ask them questions. Make sure you ask them the questions if it's been mined on, or if it's new in the box. If it's new in the box and it has not been opened, then that's a great deal. You know, 66. Oh, I'm not bidding on that, so you know. Always remember too, when you go to look at something, make sure you look at and see if it says bidding or buy it now or best offer, you know, free returns. You know, you always want to look and make sure it says free returns. And also too, if you know you're getting a great graphics card, if it says free shipping. Okay, if it says free shipping, they're not going to sell you junk. And if they sell you junk on free shipping, then, you know, you best off to go buy brand new instead of buying junk. You don't want to buy a card that's broken. And if you buy a card that's broken, you know it's going to cost at least $300 to get it fixed. So don't buy a broken card if you're not willing to get it fixed. Unless it's worth, let's say if it's worth $1,000, you bought it for $150, and you go to get it fixed for $300, you can still save some money. Yeah, there's caveats to it, so you know, it depends on how you look at it. Alrighty, 5600 XT, 120 or best offer, $80. You know, 1070, 8 GB GDR5, $125. Why would I do that? I wouldn't do that. R7 450, I wouldn't do that. Tesla P4, wouldn't do that. 6500 XT. I've already tested the 6500 XT. It's on one of my videos. You can look at it and see what I think about it there. So the 570, nope. You can get a 590. That's a little bit better. 1050, nope. 6600 for $200. For 15 or $20 more, you can go to Amazon and buy it brand new and get a warranty. So think about it. You know, really think about it. 2 GB, I don't think y'all are buying 2 GB. Pretty much y'all get the idea of what's going on eBay. And this is pretty much how eBay rolls. You know, basically they buy, you know, people sell brand new cards that are opened. They usually take everything out of the box, and then they give you what's left, the card and a couple little things. And then they turn around, whatever's inside the box, they turn around and they resell it on eBay to get more money. So do keep that in mind. If it's an open box, kind of consider what the pros and cons are before you buy it. If it's a box that's sealed, that's never been opened, then you got a deal. But if it's a box that's, you know, even if it's sealed, believe it or not, even if it's sealed, it could still have, you know, major issues. You know, somebody could have unsealed it and then resealed it, you know, and done it that way. Dishonesty. You know, I mean, if you're going to be honest and you sell on eBay, you know, make sure you tell the seller, hey, I opened it up and then I rewrapped it. At least be an honest seller and be honest with your public. So y'all get the idea of pretty much what's going on eBay. So we're going to go over there to Micro Center. Micro Center. So we're over here on Micro Center. Let's see. Let's type in graphics cards. And let's see what they got. Well, what you can buy online, they got the 4090 for $1,749. So they're trying to upsell the RTX 4090 for $100 more. I don't think that's a good deal because you can go over there to Amazon and get it for $100 cheaper. So you got the 4070. I mean, that's about the same price. You can buy it on Amazon. 4090, 4090. I mean, 4090, 4090 XLR8. For $1,599, $1,600 flat. I don't think I would go the XLR8. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't take that risk. I would be better off to go over there to Amazon. Wow. I can't believe that, Micro Center's prices should be way lower than Amazon's. Or you can at least see if in Micro Center if they got open box, if they got the open boxes, if they got an open box and they're going to sell you a graphics card at a cheaper price, do keep that in mind. You can look around for open boxes too from these big box stores and see if they'll sell it to you for a couple $100 cheaper, and that way you get a better deal. But you don't know what kind of abuse. Now, do understand this. On a return from a customer, you don't know what kind of abuse they put it through before you get it. So, do understand that. If you get something that's in an open box and you get it from a big box store and you get it home and it doesn't work and then you take it back, hopefully they can exchange it. Now, if they can exchange it for a new card, then that's a better deal. Some places will. You can return, get a return work order for that to the manufacturers. You can go that route too. But from what I'm seeing right now, Micro Center's prices on graphics cards. Now, I'm not saying on everything. Micro Center does have some great prices on, different things. So, you might want to check them out. They got everything that you can think of when it comes to PCs. So, check out their lines and what they got for, all different things. Like the motherboards, processors, RAM, they got everything. So you might want to check them out, see if they got a better price than Amazon or whatever the case is. So check them out, see what's going on. But as you can see, Micro Center's prices on graphics cards are not the best right now. So depends on what you want to buy. Now, this is going to be the deal. Okay. Now, if you got the money to spend, okay, and you want to get top of the line, and you want to get warranties and stuff like that, then, nobody's stopping you from getting top of the line. Right now, the top of the line for nvidia is going to be the RTX 4090. Right now. Okay. Now for AMD, the graphics card top of the line is the 7900 XTX. Okay. I'm not knocking either or. Is because I haven't tried them yet myself, but I'm hearing the good reviews and the bad reviews from different people. I'm weighing out the good into the bad to see which way is better to give you the best suggestion possible. And right now, if you're thinking about doing, cheaper and you don't have that kind of money, then what you might want to think about is staying within, if you're going to do all AMD, stay in the 6000 series, or, if you want to really do it on the cheap, kind of like I did, okay? I just went and got a B450 motherboard. I went and got the Ryzen 5 5600G. Okay, I got no graphics card. I'm using all integrated graphics, doing all my video editing and everything else. Yeah, it is a little bit slow on that end. Like editing videos and stuff. It's basically, it's 1-for-1 right now. But if I got the 5700G, it might take a little bit less time. From what I hear on some other people saying that, the 5700G is just as good or even better than the 5600G. So that's going to be my next bid. I really want to try the 5700G out. First, integrated graphics. Okay. Now, I know I should be using a discrete graphics card, but the thing is this. I want to see what the back end does first. I want to see what the integrated graphics do compared to the discrete graphics card first. And I can tell you, I've been running my PC for 7 months solid. I've been editing all my videos, not a problem. I've been playing on 3D games, not a problem. It's a little bit slow with the DirectX games like CSGO, but on Steam Eve, it stays right at 60 FPS. That's the maximum cap that's on that game. So around 60 FPS, it does pretty good. So, and like on Second Life, it keeps right in between 200 and 300 FPS. And when I go into clubs, it goes in between 70 and 100 FPS. Okay. Now, I was in a club the other day, and it had 60 avatars in there, 60 people. I'm not going to say, because each one of them avatars, there's a person behind it. So it had 60 plus avatars in there, 60 people. And the FPS, the minimal that I got off was 67 FPS. And that's running it on a discrete graphics. Integrated graphics. My bad. Integrated graphics. So, for me seeing that and, weighing my options, I don't think that's too bad. So, that's just to let you know, integrated graphics are not that bad if you're doing it on the cheap. Now, if you have the money to spend to get the graphics card and everything else, then that's the best way to go to. But if you're just doing it on the cheap, you're only doing light gaming, a little bit of gaming, not much. And if you're doing just a little bit of creator work and you're doing office work, then yeah, integrated graphics is the way to go. So, but I have no problem running the 5600G. Not whatsoever. From day one to now, it's still running at what it's advertised at. And the maximum that I got out of that, the CPU itself, was up to about, on running it on auto, it went up to 4.6 gigahertz. Oops, excuse me, sorry. It went up to 4.6 gigahertz. And that's weird, because it says it's only at 4.4, but it does go up that little 2%. So, but don't push it if you're running it on letting the system run itself and running it on auto. If you're using XMP or DOCP, I would manually set that and not set that on auto. For the reason is because when I set for the RAM, I set it manually. I didn't set it on auto, and I didn't let the system decide. I set it manually myself. So this way it runs smooth, and I can run this any way I want. This runs at 100% every time. I never have a problem. I keep it at, I'll tell you what, I run the processor at 4.2 gigahertz all core. So it runs 4.2 gigahertz all core. End of story. That's just something to keep in mind. But also, too, keeping this in mind. Make sure if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We still need the 1,000 subscribers, and we need to get to 4,000 watch hours. And if you like my videos, please put a like on them. And it would help the channel out and help us grow. We're still trying to get monetized, so please help out the channel. I'm going to get out of here, so y'all have a great day, and do enjoy the rest of your day. And this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.